The Jacksonville Jaguars playbook was one of many playbooks that got a massive update in the latest title update. And in this breakdown, what we're going to be doing is just simply taking a look at what I would think is going to be one of the best possible ways to run this playbook with some of the new formations that they added into this game. Now, this already was one of the best playbooks in all of Madden 26. It has a good bunch X nasty. It has a good bunch X nasty. It has a good bunch tight end. It has good trips tight end. It's already just a really really good playbook, right? But they actually went ahead and added in a couple of formations here. They added a couple of shotgun formations that they did not already have. So the under center largely still the same. They did change one thing that I wanted to show and highlight here. This was one of the formations that they added, this gun wing halfback close formation. This might be a really good red zone type of formation. I will say this formation doesn't really super impress me. It does have a cool table route here on the spacing play. That's a great table route. It has a halfback base. But outside of that, I don't think it has anything that's super crazy. It does have the slide route. But the slide route is out of play action. So maybe this dash flood play might be interesting. But anyway, that is that formation. You already have this wing slot weak here that has a couple decent plays, but these are not the mainstay, personnel groupings you really want to be in this formation. But one of the ones that they added into this playbook that I thought was a great addition is this Wild Trio week. And they actually added 24 plays to this Wild Trio week. A lot of people sleep on Wild Trio week. What Wild Trio week is really good for is specifically, it's really good for the red zone. And so you have this play here, quick fork zig. You have, just a basic base play if you wanted it. And then, you can kind of build around that with some of these other little pieces to the scheme, right? If you wanted to use a stock flat route or a draw or, whatever you want here, the orbit PA plays have that running back slide route that's super good. This quick short post has the running back wheel route that's kind of unique. So in general, like this could be just a good little, like I said, just little mix in formation that could just add a wrinkle to an already really good playbook. But the other thing that they did is they added in this formation bunch tight end weak. Now they already have the basic bunch tight end. Now the one weakness of this bunch tight end is this bunch tight end does not have a bubble screen, unfortunately. The other quick note that I wanted to give you is while we're talking about this is in Bunch X Nasty, they did make a significant change, in my opinion. They took this play Y flat goal line. If I could find it here, and I'll just show you Y flat goal line, as you can see here. If I come out in this play, it is now a C route. It does not have the speed burst that you once had. And then, in general, spacing switches out route is significantly worsened with all the updates that they've given. So back to bunch tight end week. So what I wanted to do is just kind of go through this formation a little bit with you and give you my 2 cents on what could be a way to use this formation. Generally speaking, you're going to want to run this formation with your bunch to the wide side of the field. That would make the most sense. So you're going to come out in short side bunch X nasty, and you're going to audible into this bunch tight end week. A couple plays that I think make a lot of sense to have as some of your main plays. Number one is they have this duo. It's a really good run. You want to duo runs in general. They basically added a variation of bunch strong offset, if you will. It's just out of bunch tight end. So motion divide X under. The reason I want this is going to kind of be my makeshift flood play from a bunch strong formation. And then after that, I don't know that there's necessarily like a clear cut one. The reason this motion flood H sneak play is interesting is that running back route. It's not exactly the same as the slide route, but it looks very similar. So I want to take a look at that. You always want to look for when you're looking at new formations, looking for unique routes, look for routes that you can't really hot route and trying to kind of build around that. This mesh post has a really unique kind of angled post route. And so anyway, we'll just get on the field here. And they also have this RPO read bubble, which takes Jags to another level because when you have this RPO read bubble, I'm actually going to put that in here and then we'll just get on the field. I'll show you how we could use this. So let's say we come out in bunch X nasty and I'll just set up, a basic substitution deal here. But we come out in bunch X nasty and we're running our plays however we want. what we can do is we often will come out in short side bunch X nasty, and then we'll flip into wide side, right? But what we could also do is audible here to this bunch tight end weak. What's nice about it is if I audible to this RPO rebubble, you're going to see that I can place this guy on a flat. Shout out to the patch for not changing that, by the way. And I can now throw this really glitchy flat route, not only from bunch tight end alignment, which I think is really good, but now I can do it from bunch tight end strong alignment, which is actually even better because that look at the pitch. There's just never a world in which they can basically defend this. Like this becomes a very, very good RPO. It's going to be very difficult for them to defend consistently. And then you also have the read option attached to that. So anyway, this is just a really, really good play. I'm glad that they put this in because the offense was already hard. And so now we have some great tools to be able to counter defense. JK. Wish they would have added. I don't know. I mean, it's cool they add new playbooks, but I feel like this is gonna be bad because this is gonna really. I just think this really helps Jags. Jags didn't need a lot of help, but this will help it by having this RPO bubble. This is the big thing that happened. The other thing is you have this play motion flood sneak. I want to take a look at this running back route. Let's just do like a. For example, first and foremost, we'll do like a man coverage just to kind of see how man plays, and then we'll talk about zone. But with the slide routes, what you were able to basically do, which as you see here, we have some other cool routes too. We have kind of a unique slot fade within this play that we could do, different combos. But in general, right, my basic question here is, does this running back route work like a slide route? So you see he runs across, and as you see it does pretty much, it out leverages the man coverage defender. So what that allows us to do offensively is it allows us to build a whole series of plays around that one route. So we could do things like a tight end corner and a short flat. So what this would do, let's say they're playing like a cover two. We could do really whatever on the back side of this. It's not super, like if we want to do just a simple combo like this, we certainly could do this. But watch this running back slide route. And it just gets underneath everything. Like it's just such a really, really good route. The one issue is when D linemen bump it, but I'll show you that it beats man. I'll see if I can actually illustrate this. Let me audible to it here. Also, by the way, if you guys are members of our school community, I just wanted to let you know that our updates for our ebooks will be rolling out over the next day or two as we're testing different things. And if you're looking to take your game to the next level in Madden 26 or College Football 26, our school community gives you access to all of my offensive and defensive ebooks. So if you want to check that out, that link will be in the description. So as you'll see right here, see how like when it's isolated on man coverage, a lot of times actually the man coverage played it a lot better than you would have thought. So I do still think it's a really good route. I like the way that it runs. And whenever you're testing new things like this, you always want to just at least test it against both man and zone. You could also test it against match. And then with the running back routes in particular, there's so much chipping in this game. I always like to, test it to see what happens if the route runs clean and what happens if the route doesn't run clean. But as you can see, I mean, this is a really cool route. Like, it's going to do a really good job of attacking that right side flat. It gives you the ability to attack every area of the field. And then the cool part about this is, let's say we wanted to kind of build some other combinations. You have a short post out of this play motion divide. So guess what play this brings us back to? This brings us back to all kinds of different plays. But one of the plays that we can do here is we could do the old school Durham type setup here. Really high level play where that short post is going to do a good job of kind of getting underneath of a quarter with that tight end, clearing out that vertical space. So you have just a lot of really good plays in this, in my opinion. And then the other thing about motion divide X under is you have this slot fade. So what we can do, put this guy on a corner, stem him all the way down, put the running back on a flat, and do something like this, where now you're kind of building around your slot fade. And this slot fade can do a good job if we wanted to do, let's do like a stemmed up post. See if this slot fade can take the top off the defense. And you see there that post kind of did to the right side. This will be a match. I'm sure that this will be a match beater. Let me actually go grab match coverage. All right, so I have cover 4 quarters here. Booted up. I'm going to spy the D line just to Also like to do this because the sheds in this game are in practice mode are always unrealistic, and another part of this is I just kind of want to see the routes, right? See how they play, but obviously I know you'll have to deal with the pass rushing game, but something to kind of help us see the whole play develop here. But as you see, oh no, he switched on to it pretty good, so that does not necessarily burn match coverage. I'm sure there's a way we can get it to. But I do like having the stock fade. I do think it's going to be helpful to the overall offense. And it helps Jags because Jags didn't have a slot fade like this, a stock fade like this, really, in any of their plays. I can actually pull the play here, motion divide under. Shout out to the stock pass protection. Make sure you're always setting base. Let's see if I do a streak, a corner, and a fade. We'll see how that super flip left side. And we are getting a touchdown. There it is. So if you want to beat match, that is how to do it. But yeah, really, really cool formation. A lot you can do with it. I really think those are really going to be the two main plays, this motion flood sneak play. This slot fade route, let's see if we can stem this route. Always test to see if you can stem things. Normally, if you can smart route them, you can stem them. Can't stem that route. Okay. But what you could realistically do is, you could also do something like this. Do something like that. Have a nice little flood on the left side. And then what you'll see here is that slot fade clears out. It's actually going to clear out probably even better than the hot routed slot fade, which is yet another reason what makes this a good formation. I cannot stress to you guys enough, though, how just of a relief it would be to run duo. Because look at how good this run is. Like, it's a really, really good run. And you're going to have that. And then you're also going to have this read bubble. So what are they going to realistically, how do they defend both? I think that is certainly going to be a thing. And then if we don't, like the read, like the pass, we could just hand it off and it's basically inside zone. So it's just a great little mini scheme, I think, to put with Jags. I think you should have duo and the bubble in your audibles just because they're two really, really good runs. And you don't necessarily need a lot in terms of routes because you can create so many with your quarterback. As we're kind of looking back at this formation, the only other thing that I would say, the auto motions aren't amazing. You do have a play action play if you want to just freestyle out of play action. You could do that as well. You have kind of a unique crosser here on mesh slot deep. And then this spacing wheel play is kind of interesting. I did kind of want to peek some of this. So we'll just go through. I'm just going to now test some routes. So I'm going to put that mesh post route in there. I'm going to put the spacing wheel route in there. And then shallow corner to me doesn't look crazy good. PAZ wheel doesn't look crazy good. Duo mesh slot deep just to test that crosser. And then you could probably test this motion snag under just to test that short corner. And then the other play that I do think is kind of cool in this is motion escort PA slide, just because it has a like a quick flat, like a speed flat. So realistically, if they're playing you, let's just see how the speed flat runs. But yeah, I like that. So he kind of snaps like he actually like they hike the ball when he's not even across the line. So what this could do is let's say we do like a stem here. We have a unique short crosser, but let's just run this against man and just kind of see how man plays it. But as you see, get that snap, and then look what that does to the man coverage. It's pretty good. It's kind of like a motion slide route in terms of practically how it would actually affect this formation. And then let me make sure we have the proper man coverage. So normally, right, you're going to get this would be a man coverage defender on the tight end. This would be the user, and then you would kind of have your defense like that in a traditional man coverage setting. So let's say I, drag the tight end, and this just gives us different cool things we could do. Like if we wanted to do something like this, totally an option, like a little mesh play. Yeah, but anyway, kind of a neat little play, something to look at. I don't love how that worked there, but it is kind of a cool route to if you see a cool route, right, want to try it out. Kind of a block and release pattern from the tight end, so it's not even really a route. So, anywho, okay, let's test a couple of these other plays here just to see what we're working with. This mesh post play, again, you always want to test this. This to me, the only real unique route is that route right there. So we'll just put a streak here. Whoops. And we'll just start out with cover three. Just see if this beats cover three. We put the tight end on a corner just to give some clear out. But I just want to see how this post kind of works. And as you see, it's a really nice post route. It's not exactly like the double post, but it is good. And then the other thing I was going to show here is how would this play against man coverage? You always want to kind of test some of the core things to see what you're working with these routes. So how does this route, basically the question is, does this route beat man? That is a super important question. So here we're just going to isolate the space and try to make it get one-on-one, see how it works. You see it kind of does, but it's okay. Did beat man okay there. So for example, let's say you're playing, somebody that does something like this. This could be a really good play for you because this post route isolated seems to beat man a little better than a basic post. So you see you get that super sharp cut there. And then, of course, if you have short and elite, slot-o-matic, route tech, something like that, it's going to make it all the better. So now you have a really cool post route from this formation that gets it to a nice spot. As far as how you could actually build a combo around this, what I would probably do is I would do mesh post and I would do a streak and use that corner. I got the drag right there. And then I'd probably just do something very straightforward like this. But watch how that post route gives us really nice spacing, and it can kind of split coverage as well. You have the ability here. If I run cover three, I bet you this is a touchdown. Just because this post is going to run at a different type of angle. That's what makes it kind of good. So and the cool part is this is a quick snap setup. Like all you have to do is stem this guy, streak this guy, and then if you want to block the running back, you can. You don't even have to do that. The other thing is with you motion the running back, he goes out wide like this, so this could create some new looks for you as well. Put him back in the backfield though. And then, he motions out here too. So you can kind of create a quads look. That's cool. But anyway, we'll show this against cover three. So you see how he runs like at a super sharp angle. And then you see how he stops there. That's always good to know because if he's going to stop like that, you kind of want to know that, right? So anyway, it's an okay post. It's not as good as double post from Bunch, okay? But it is a good route. Mesh slot deep, kind of a unique crossing route. You get this little sit route that's kind of cool. The actual left side drag is kind of unique, but typically what you would probably do with this play is you would probably do, something like this. And let's just see against cover three how it would do. Just watch how it runs. Kind of got bumped there, but it does run kind of different. It's a little different than a crossing route. It's a little bit more of like almost like a straight line, which is cool because it'll make him good against man probably, like man press. Now here again, we're just gonna try to isolate this. So I'm just going to streak this guy to try to clear the deep half out. But basically, did okay against man. Like, not much better than a regular crosser, though. So anyway, that's cool. And then motion snag under. Always want to test these corner routes because these can have speed bursts. So we're just going to test this. You see, he does kind of try to speed burst, but then he stops in his tracks. So let's see if if we're going up against cover two here. If this speed burst worked, what we'd be able to see here is we'd be able to get this open against cover two. So we'll see. Yeah, he still kind of gets okay. So there you go. So you have a quick flat goal line like play. Let's see how that route does against man coverage. Snag under. Fried man coverage. All right, well, there you go. So shout out to the quick flat goal line patch. Yeah, so I mean, you see here, like this does a good job against off man coverage. It's not going to do a great job probably against press man. So if I was to run press man, it was really good against off man, but I doubt that it's good against press man. We'll just test it. Do something like that. He probably does eventually win. He does eventually win, but he's not. It's not going to be 100% because the press is going to certainly disrupt the timing of this. But off coverage, man, this is a really good play. So how would you run it? What I would probably do is use a drag on the outside and really just kind of get into, you kind of have to put the tight end. You could do a return route, but I think you ultimately need a drag. And then the inside guy, I feel like a streak makes the most sense. And I feel like the tight end does something like this. But you can really do whatever you want here. But you see how it got bagged by press man. So that is something you have to be aware of within that play. And then the last one, I believe, is this spacing wheel. So first things first, partially designed. We just want to test the flat route. We know spacing switch, right, has good flat routes. So we're just going to basically just touch, kind of blindly throw that. That didn't give me a great vibe. That didn't give me a good animation that I would like to see there. To me, that flat route is not special, right? Like a spacing switch would be at a bunch X nasty. So there's nothing super special about that route. However, you do get this kind of cool wheel route here. What I would bet you could do is kind of like a seam wheel. So if I did something like this, it's kind of like verticals. And so I bet you he kind of gets in this pocket. Yeah, kind of gets in that pocket a little bit. What you'd probably want to do with this play is you would probably want to go with a slot fade, a streak like this, or a deep cross. And then you'll see this kind of window open up right there. It's not as cool against zone. I don't think that does really anything for you that much that you couldn't already do with this offense. Because the other thing that you could do here, if we go back to this, is you now have the ability to have like a drag, a post or crosser, and then you can do a slot fade or a flat with a running back wheel or running back streak. And then you could also do this where you do double streaks with a running back streak. So anyway, this overall is a very nice formation, a nice addition to an already really, really good playbook in Madden 26. And just for clarity, just want to show that the majority of what made this playbook good is still there. So you still have bunch tight end now. You have I think a better bunch tight end now just because you now have the threat of going to that bunch tight end week, but you can also still go to some of your bread and butter stuff out of bunch tight end. You have some new stuff out of the Y off trio week. You have Y off trio close here, which has just been such a good formation this year, especially motion PA cross switch. You have tight slots. You have tight doubles in this playbook. You have cluster halfback strong with a really great little mini scheme you could run from here. You have trips tied in, full trips with the runs for the quarterback and the RPO bubble. And you even have some 5 wide stuff that is actually pretty good. This empty base with Y corner, Y post, and then the double seam streaks, really decent formation. So all in all, all you can simply say is this update made a good playbook, a clear number 1 playbook in Jags. Even better, you still have doubles flex Y off close in this, and then you even have some new kind of tight formations here. So anyway, wanted to give just a little mini scheme breakdown on the update to Jags playbook. And if you want to get my full offensive ebook on Jags, it's going to be available in our school community, and that is going to be linked in the description for just $10. You can take your game to the next level today. Get the information that you need to win more games in Madden in College Football 26 by joining our school community today for just $10. That link is in the description below.